Hello, Daryl here. The channel is Programming in Any Language. The supporting website is programminginanylanguage.com or black-tech.com. They both take you to the same place. And it's a place where you'll find the videos and PDFs of the code. The video is the Anything Database version 4, part 5, loading the file. Loading data is a process of reading one record at a time and using a method in the class to extract each piece. Each piece is a fixed length, so we use the substring method within the class to do the extraction. Once separated in the class, we simply add the instance of the class to our list. One thing you will note is that we first clear the list. Why? Well, the user could press load after the add routine was used or after load was used, resulting in duplicates. By clearing the list first, we know that only the data from the file will be loaded. Watch. Last time we saved the data, and we did a good job with that. We used the class a little bit. This time we're going to complete that process by doing the loading the file. That's what the purpose of this video is. And we're going to use the class again to make some changes to the data, or at least make it easier for us to write that program that's going to use that data. So the Anything Database version 4, part 5, loading the file is what we're going to be doing next. So let's take a look at that. If we look at our hierarchy chart, once again, we see everything that's here, and we're going to be looking at the load piece right in here, which is going to open the stream writer, select the open file, or read the records into our list, and display the record count and close the file. We can broaden that a little bit or display it in a more meaningful spot where we're only dealing with this part, the load. Opening that stream writer and selecting the open file, then reading the records. There's going to be a loop in here, and then displaying the record count. And one thing we have to be concerned about is we're reading in a file that is got all the pieces in a set form. In other words, all the first names are the same size, all the last names are the same size, and so on. And so we're going to want to extract that data. Now we can do that in our program, or we can do it in the class. And we're going to choose to do it in our class to make the class a little bit more powerful as we go forward. So let's take a look at that. Our Anything Database version 4 using a class is going to be a little bit like this. We're going to be using the record count, displaying that, because as we read the file in, we want to tell us how many records we actually have in there. We're going to have a message out here telling us that we've actually succeeded loading the file. We're going to use the load button, and we're going to turn on the panel, because remember, we're coming into an application that has nothing in it, possibly. It might have something in it. We're just going to overlay everything and wipe it out and start all over again. Or we're going to, in any event, we're going to be loading the file with data, and the data is going to be there. So we're going to turn on the navigation mode so we can navigate right away. And that's really the extent of it. If we look at our form, well, one thing we want to do is we want to take a look at this. We're going to be doing the load piece here. So we're going to be jumping into here and actually creating something called loading the project. However, before that, we've got all this other data that's up in here. Are we making any change to that? Possibly, possibly not. We certainly are going to be making a change with the person class. Let's take a look at the person class. Last time we actually added this format comma delimited so we could do all the work inside the class to create the full record with the comma delimited piece. Now we're going to take that thing apart and do that thing backwards. So what we're going to do here is we want to add one more method to this thing. That method is going to be split comma delimited. And we're going to be passing it the full record. In other words, we're going to bring something in from the file, which is we got that full record here. We looked at it last time. If you remember, the data looked something like this. The first name was so long with a comma, middle initial, last name. All the pieces were in fixed length format. What we're going to do now is we're going to be extracting these things and pulling it out so we can actually grab Daffy and all his blanks and stick it into our class, our middle initial, our last name, and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to do so by creating this method that's going to do that for us. And we're going to do that right here. And it's going to be looking like this. Basically, it's going to take that full record we passed to it, and it's going to grab that full record, look at position 0, and for 15, it's going to grab it and put it in the first name. In position 16, it's going to grab one character and put it into the middle initial. In position 18, it's going to grab two characters, 20 characters, and bring with the last name. And 39, it's going to bring 35 characters for address line 2 on. Address line 2 is going to come over. City is going to come over. State. And finally, in position 140, it's going to grab 5 characters and bring in the zip code and put it in there. Automatically part of the class. So our class is now complete. We actually created in the beginning, but we modified it some as we were building our application. And now I think we've got all the pieces we need for this thing to be complete. And we can pass this on to someone else who wants to use this same code for their project if they want. So that takes care of our person class. Now let's jump over to our form. In our form, there shouldn't be anything to do in this area. Everything is pretty much complete here. Our flip buttons is there. Enable text boxes, clear text boxes, flip buttons. The cancel routine is there, the button update. The read-only data entry, display record count, fill text boxes, bottom, top, back, all the navigation we're using, and finally our save button. So basically we're in pretty good shape. We've got everything done up to the point of our button load. And that's what we want to do next. So to do the button load, we're going to open our stream reader up and read our file. How do we do that? The first thing we want to do is we want to create that anything record, make it set to blank so it's got null, so there's nothing in it. But that's what's going to hold our record as we bring it in, the string anything record, str anything record. And that's what we're going to pass to our class when we bring it in. So the next thing we're going to need is a try catch. Something could go wrong, so we like to protect ourselves. Try. And underneath that, we're going to put the catch. And I do want to bring this down too. And the catch is going to have a message box. So if something goes wrong during our reading of the file, our message box will give us a system message telling us what it actually did go wrong. So all the processing is going to go take place in here. What's going to take place in here? We're going to start out by our stream reader is going to be the anything file. And if anything file is going to be open text, anything database.txt open file. So this is going to bring in the file we created in the save portion. It's going to read it into this portion, so we actually open it up. Then we're going to put in our loop. Our loop's going to look like this. While anything file in the stream is false, in other words, while we're not at the end of the stream, we're going to read all the records that are there until we get to the end of file. Every time we do that, we're going to take the anything file read line 1 and bring it into the string anything record. This is the piece we're going to pass to our class. We're going to increment the record count by 1 because we're adding 1 record to the file. We're going to create an instance of our class, new person equals new person, and we're going to take that new person then and call the split comma delimited procedure for our method we just created, passing it the string anything record. So the string anything record is going to go into that thing. The class is going to take care of it for us. We're going to end up with our piece there. And all we have to do then is take anything list and add the new person. So this will actually create the list piece and pop that in place. That's all we need to do. Once we're done, we have a couple of things to do. We want to close a file. We want to display the record count, go to text boxes, and then label message.txt data file read is complete. That's what we want to do here. So that takes care of that piece. I had mentioned that we need to turn on the panel, and that's already taken care for us in the display record count piece. If we take a look at that, if we go back to our display record count, which is right here, we're bringing in the record count and displaying in our label. We're also have an if statement there. If record count is greater than 0, we're going to turn on panel navigation. So this is taking care of that panel problem. So if you happen to bring records in through our file, we'll have greater than 0 in there, and we'll be able to turn it on. If for some reason we fail and we don't bring anything in, or the file's empty and it stops on us, it'll still remain off. So we won't have our panel navigation there. So this already takes care of it for us. That's all we have to do. So let's take a look and see if this thing works. Got our piece all in place. Looks like it. Let's go ahead and do a start. Let's do a save all first and run it. Now this should bring in the data we created in the save feature. So let's do a load. Data file read is complete. Our navigation is turned on. We can go to the top of the file, and there's Daffy Duck. We can navigate through it. Elmer Fudd's there, Bugs Bunny's there. Our 3 records are all there. 0, 1, and 2 are sitting out there without any problems. So that's it. We can now easily add another one if we like. Updated, we have a 4th one. We now can save this file. And it's written to disk, exit out, start over again. We have nothing there. Do our load, and we bring in 4 records. We can go to the bottom one right away and see there's Yosemite Sam, which we just added. So that's loading in a nutshell. Very straightforward, very simple. Being able to save and load means we don't have to keep entering data by hand. We can now code the rest of this application. And that next piece is edit. Thanks for watching. Visit the website when you get a chance, and please subscribe to the channel. There's more stuff coming every week. We'll see you in the next video. Take care.